Okay, the first 2 episodes of the second season haven't quite gone to plan, but I feel like there's a turning point coming. And for once, it isn't like a baseless comment, like there is actually some evidence to show that we are turning a corner, and I feel like we can, start pushing on in the season. It has been a slow start, but there's still so many more months to go. And who knows, because this episode might be the turning point again, where we turn into shit street. In the last episode, we took on newly promoted Blackburn Rovers on at Elland Road in the league, and we drew 1-1. Michael Elise scoring his first goal for the club, as we managed to equalise with about 10 minutes left on the clock. A bit of a disappointing result, to be fair, because, Blackburn have been promoted, and these are the sort of teams we need to be beating. And to be brutally honest, I did think after that result against Blackburn, this may be a long season again, but, once again, they've proved me wrong. Now, the results have been pretty good after an initial blip, but following that game against Blackburn, we took on Wolves away, and Adama Traore scored in injury time to give Wolves all 3 points. We weren't very good, and Molyneux, I don't think we really did anything. And then following that match, we then took on Burnley in the Carabao Cup, and we were absolute shit for the first 45 minutes. I think we found ourselves 3-0 down, and it was utterly dreadful to watch. We did manage to pull 2 goals back in the second half, but we ultimately fell short and lost by 3-2, which saw us get knocked out. League leaders Arsenal then turned up to Elland Road, and they threatened to end our unbeaten run as they took a lead through Fabio Vieira. But then we turned it around in the second half as Julian Alvarez then equalised and then made it 2-1 to us. Bukayo Saka then equalised for Arsenal with 20 minutes left on the clock. But with 10 minutes left, we managed to get a penalty, and Julian Alvarez completed his hat-trick to give us a 3-2 win and to inflict Arsenal's first defeat of the season. And then finally we went away to the King Power Stadium to take on Leicester City, and we went 1-0 down within 2 minutes as Patson Daka tapped into an open net. But in the second half, Rodrigo came off the bench to equalise and give us a 1-1 draw and to share the points. And in this episode, we take on another newly promoted side as Watford come to Elland Road. I believe they're 19th in the league and they haven't won all season. So, what better team to give them their first 3 points of the season than us? Okay, first of all, let's get through the negatives, which, is pretty much every episode. Every episode is negative. It's either me complaining about my players, me complaining about the officials, me complaining about the tactical setups of every other team in this league, me complaining about the fact my strikers can't score. But this time, my complaint is about our defeat against Burnley. Our XG was 2.99, and Burnley's XG was 1.14, and we lost 3-2. When is it going to end, Robbie? Well, at least the XG is getting a bit higher. Julian Alvarez also was in the media to praise me for the fact that I backed him in our 3-2 win against Arsenal, and he got the hat-trick. No one else really on the pitch did anything, mate. Like, you literally ran the show against them. Oh yeah, let me praise my defence, who conceded twice against Arsenal. You may also be pleased to know that the board have finally upgraded my rating to a B-, which is the highest it's ever been since I actually took this job. It's great, although, to be honest, the criticisms I've seen to be getting are to do with the transfer dealings. But it doesn't really make sense how I got a B- because the breakdown says I got C+ in every aspect of the managerial performance review. Just another thing that doesn't make sense to me. The amount of books we could have published on that exact subject, we could be going on to about volume 37 at the moment. The loan manager also let me know that Patrick Bamford isn't actually playing at Wolves at the moment, so I decided to speak to the manager, and look what happened. He went and scored his first goal for Wolves, which was one more than he scored for me the entirety of last season.
I want to crash my car into a telephone pole.
You may be bored now of hearing about the analyst reports, but something quite interesting came about, and they said that our attacking movement is actually one of the best in the league. It says that we perform a lot of dribbles and we get fouled a lot. And to be fair, I'm not really surprised, because I've seen us pass the ball and we couldn't pass water if we tried. It's always good to see my assistant manager bigging up our players in press conferences, and he said after the 3-2 win against Arsenal that Julian Alvarez can give Erling Haaland a run for his money. That is the same Erling Haaland that scored 44 goals in all competitions last year, while Julian Alvarez only scored 1. Actually, it might have been 2, but he was absolutely fucking nowhere near Erling Haaland's total. I am starting to get to the point where I feel like we need a new assistant manager. Just your bi-monthly update that Junior Firpo still cannot run down the left wing with the ball. That probably explains why he's third choice left back now for me. But now we go into our game against Watford at home, and we are sticking with the same 4-3-3 formation we've played in recent weeks. It is working now, and thankfully it's getting some results for us, so I don't see the point of changing it. The back four is pretty much the strongest it's been, and is pretty much the same as the last few episodes, as Dallas, Tuanzebe, Senesi and Mitchell will be our back four. Robin Koch will play as the sole defensive midfielder. Mateus Klick and Rafinha will be the 2 central midfielders ahead of him. And we have decided to refresh the front 3, so Daniel James and Rodrigo come in for Michael Elise and Gianluca Scamacca, while Julian Alvarez will be moved from left wing to striker. And this was actually the front 3 that I ended the Leicester game with, and they actually looked a lot better than the front 3 I've been playing in recent episodes. So, you know, that is my reasoning behind it. Not that I really need to explain my tactical decisions to you, mainly because they don't make sense. Okay, this has the potential to be one of the more interesting games we've picked this season. We are still unbeaten at Ellen Road since December last year. We are playing a newly promoted team who haven't managed to pick up a win yet. So it's already set up for a very comfortable home win, hopefully get the 3 points and boost our chances of getting into the top half. We are in danger of getting cut off from the top half already, but we're not really in danger of being relegated. So it could be a consolidation season again. I'm so sorry. Hang on, I don't need to be apologising because survival is always the first aim. Everything else is just a bonus after that. But we have been on pretty decent form recently. You know, we got a draw against Leicester away from home, a team that qualified for Europe last year. We managed to beat Arsenal, who are currently top of the league, and were unbeaten. And I think they won every game up to the point that we played them. So I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but I am feeling quietly confident about this. There wasn't really much between the teams in the first 15 minutes, but Watford did get an attack together. João Pedro managed to lay off Ismail Assar on the edge of the box, but he forced a good save from Meslier. Not really the start I'm looking for in a moment, but I'm sure we'll get to grips with the game and hopefully get the 3 points. And we were starting to get some chances together as Mateus Klick played a lovely ball over the top for Rodrigo to be through on goal, but he could only find the goalkeeper. And then just before the half an hour mark, Rafinha put a great ball into the box from the corner, and Julian Alvarez rose the highest to head it into the back of the net and to score once again for me. I just say it quietly, but I think Julian Alvarez may be the best player in the league. And just when I thought we'd push on and get a few more goals and hopefully settle this game early, Ismail Assar then ran down the right hand side, put the ball across the box, and Marcus Senesi then put through it into his own net. Wow, 14 million on a player that scores an own goal against a team that haven't won all season. Fan-fucking-tastic. Honestly, I don't know what he's doing. He could have literally just booted the ball out for a throw-in or a corner, and he does that instead. And then a couple of minutes later, Watford got another attack, and Simon Castillejo put a great ball into the box. Chris Richards headed it on, and then Samir headed it into the back of the net. Honestly, mate, I'm done. I'm done with this game. I'm actually done with this game. I can't be arsed anymore. I cannot be arsed anymore. How the fuck are we losing to Watford at home? Watford, who have got 1 point all season, and we're 2-1 down to them. But just before half time, we started getting some attacks together, and Julian Alvarez slid the ball in for Rafinha, who then ran through the middle and then fired the ball into the stand. Great, another Proudy signings is doing fantastically well. Oh, brilliant. Yep, Watford have had 2 shots on goal, and they've scored twice. And one of those shots didn't even go in, so that's even better. I decided to change it into a 4-2-3-1 and push Rafinha into the number 10, and Robin Koch then moved into central midfield. And then within about 3 minutes of the restart, Rodrigo then played in Julian Alvarez and one-on-one with the keeper, fired it into the stand. What the fuck is wrong with us? After the hour mark, we decided to make a double change. So James Shackleton came on for Mateus Klick, and then I put Stuart Dallas into the central midfield spot. And then Julian Alvarez was pushed out wide, and then Rodrigo came off for Scamacca. And then within a couple of minutes of his introduction, Scamacca got on the end of a Rafinha corner to head it into the back of the net and make it 2-2. I just know I'm going to love this bald-headed bastard. And then with 72 minutes on the clock, we got an attack down the left-hand side, and Tyree Mitchell played it to Gianluca Scamacca, who smacked the ball into the top corner to give us a 3-2 lead. That was until VAR intervened and then disallowed the goal for offside. And we were ramping up the pressure, but when we got to injury time, a long ball found substitute Michael Elise, who laid it off for Mark Rocker to fire it at the keeper, and that was it. We had drawn 2-2 at home to Watford. Oh, and did Watford have a shot in the second half? Oh, bloody course they didn't. Cool, lads. Yep, I love drawing against relegation fodder. It's fan-bloody-tastic.
You want this, girl? Let's dance, girl. Let's get down tonight. You want this, girl? Let's dance, girl. Let's get down tonight.